there. Good afternoon. How the heck are you? I'm Cindy Dole, and this is Home Wizards, your radio home for all things home, garden, and life improvement. I'm here every Saturday from 2 to 4 to talk about what I love to talk about, and that's what I think is the most important, a place in your life and in your world, and that, of course, is with a place and the spaces you call home. So every Saturday, what we try to do is make it feel just a little better somehow, whether it's inside or outside. Try to take the stress away, how to style it and energize, and just feel good when you're there, and that is what the mission is here on the show. So coming up, speaking of taking the stress out, we're going to spend quite a bit of time with one of my favorite organization pros. She is the Zen Master of Organization. Her name is Regina Leeds, and she's written this whole series of books on how to 1 year to an organized life, fill in the blank, and she has a new one out to help you with your family. So we're going to talk about that and really kind of guide you space by space throughout the house to really make it feel less cluttered and more orderly, because, you know, it's still early in the year. We still have our goals for 2011, and I think that organization is always a big one for me. So we're going to spend some time talking about that. And then as we get ready for Valentine's Day, you're probably thinking about those last-minute gifts and things to decorate your place for that special someone, perhaps. Well, we're going to talk with Wanda Wen, and she has quite the eye and the knack for it. She's all about looking at the world differently when it comes to paper and nature and making it really thoughtful. And so she's going to give us some great ideas to whether it's wrapping a present in these beautiful things or even coming up with a great way just to decorate for Valentine's Day. And then a bit later, when you think pink, what do you think of? You maybe think of Barbie or My Little Pony or Hello Kitty and maybe even Elvis's pink Cadillac. But the pinkification of home is really hot this year. And we're going to talk with a color expert about the psychology of really all colors in terms of your home and how it can change not only how you feel emotionally, but physically, how you respond to colors. So keep the number handy. It's 888-KFWB-980, 888-539-2980. And as you are listening to things, and maybe you go, oh, darn it, I was in the car, or I had to go out for an errand, and I didn't catch the rest of it, or I wanted to hear it again. Not to worry. You can just go back to the website, to cindydole.com there, and then click on the on-air section. You can download the podcast. You can do whatever you like and look at videos and blog tips and all that good stuff. And by the way, throughout the week, I hope you'll also join in our conversation because, like everyone, we're on Facebook. And so you can just kind of hang out with me and share some information, what's going on in your home and your world at Facebook. Follow Cindy Dole. All right, so before we get to the first guest, I want to tell you about, there's some more encouraging signs about the economy and our home, and now there's another report out. Well, first, we saw it a few weeks ago at the Builders Show in Orlando, and now there's a study out by Harvard saying that home remodeling is going to be on the rise this year after the worst slump since the 60s, and that a lot of us are still feeling that, you know, we're in it for the long haul, but now showrooms are also really starting to see it, that it's not just, you know, bits and pieces, but people are really wanting to dive in and maybe do the kitchen or the bathroom or remove the popcorn ceiling or whatever it is. And so it's kind of encouraging. They found that home improvement is going to jump by 3.5% this year, and that banks are actually going to be lending more money this year. That's all very good news. So what to renovate? Here's a tip. Don't worry. I think don't worry about the resale. I mean, yeah, you want to think about that down the road, but I think since we're hunkering down, just think about you and what you're going to enjoy. But if you are worried about the return on the value, here are some of the things to consider. First of all, that steel entry door, when you replace that, it's about $1,200. That's a good one. You're going to get about 102% back on that steel entry door replacement. Or how about the garage door? About the same price, typically around $1,200, 84% back of what you paid. So that's another good investment. Minor kitchen remodel, you know, it's a lot of money. A lot of times it could be up to 6 figures. But if you did something even on the smallish scale, about 20, 30 grand-ish, 73% back. How about a deck addition, a wooden deck? About 11 grand for that, 73% back. So let me know what projects you're considering and why. Email me and we'll talk about it. Love to hear about it. Oh, and by the way, another positive sign the economy is doing well. Plastic surgery is up. Speaking of renovations. Yes, we want to nip and tuck not only our home, but ourselves. And you know what? That's okay. So let's get organized, Seth, to our first guest. Here we go. Oh, yeah. She is the cleanup woman. I keep meaning to have you. You got to have this as your phone ringer. Regina Leeds. She she is a professional organizer, and I know what you're thinking because she writes about it on her blog. Oh, she's so perfect. Organizers always have their stuff together, right? So to speak.
We certainly should.
Yeah.
I'm very organized, but there are other things that I teach people that I'm always learning about myself, and that, for instance, is balance and boundaries. You really have to cultivate both of those when you're getting organized, and I'm always relearning about that, and my clients are always teaching me. I always say that people think that organizing is about putting the stuff away and having the right containers, and that's really the least important part of it to me as an organizer. When I come into your home to organize you, I'm seeing a short story, a novel, a play come to life in form.
A series.
A series. And that's what's interesting to me. If it's really bad, and I hope it is because that's what keeps me in business, how did it get this way? What's going on for you? And what are you willing to change in your life so that whatever cosmetic changes we make in your environment are real and they're going to stay and you're going to honor it rather than just being totally cosmetic? So
you mean kind of like the news about the plastic surgery? You may look prettier on the outside, but you got to fix the stuff on the inside too.
Exactly. There was a woman on Oprah once. She was in the audience, and it was a discussion about organizing. And she was, as Oprah pointed out, she was very perfectly dressed, and she had her jewelry on, and her home was a nightmare. I believe she was the lady whose dogs were doing their business in the house, for instance.
No.
Yes.
Oh no.
And so it isn't just what we're presenting. A lot of people have very perfect public rooms, and I walk in and I think, why am I here? What am I going to do? And then we get into the closets and the drawers and the master suite. And it's really interesting that for most people, the master suite is in disarray because, with Valentine's Day coming up, that it's not just about chocolate and flowers. If I were thinking about getting somebody a special Valentine, I would look at, and I were married, I would look at the condition of the sheets in the bedroom. How old is the duvet cover?
Are you available? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'm available.
Just want to put that out there.
Oh, what a wonderful way to meet someone.
If you're an organized guy, we've got a great one right here. Well, you never know. But we always talk with designers about that, how we postpone our most intimate spaces, like the bedroom, for that investment in our improvement. And that extends to organization, too.
Absolutely.
Because, there's something about our ego. We want to show all our friends that, look at this great new refrigerator. Look at our great living room and our plasma. Super Bowl party, right?
Right. But it's about how you're nurturing yourself and your bedroom and your bath. I think the bedroom, the bathroom, and the kitchen are the three most important places because you've got to rest and you've got to eat.
Yeah.
And you've got to get dressed. After that, I would say your home office. And then after that, I would think about the public rooms. Yeah. I grew up with a mom who was just like that. Our home our home physically was always perfect in every room. But my mom didn't care about drawers and closets. She said, if you can't see it, I don't care. She was organized so that she would be judged well. And I always, from the time I was a child, didn't quite get that. And I always thought you should be organized literally as a way to nurture and love yourself. And if you love yourself, that's when you are in a much better position to meet somebody who loves themselves as well. And then you're two whole people coming together rather than two broken halves attempting to fit together to make a whole.
Wow, this is heavy.
This is heavy. This is heavy duty. And I'm here to talk about babies.
I know. You have all these great books and why the whole idea of organization for a mom to be and a dad to be. I mean, I guess that gets pretty stressful in terms of everything on top of your world now. How do you manage it?
Oh, yeah.
The time and
there's an avalanche of stuff on its way to you if you're pregnant. If you're having your first baby, you may not fully realize that. An avalanche of stuff is coming and an avalanche of a to-do list. There are so many things to get ready. I wrote this book with the mother of 5. Her children range from 1 to 13, and she is amazing. And I've been organizing moms for 20 years, and she's been in the trenches for the past 13. So between us, we literally touch on every single thing you might have to organize before baby comes. And then we stay with you for the first 5 months of baby's life, so you won't feel abandoned.
But you don't come and change the diapers or anything like that. But you're kind of psychologically with us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And there's so many things to get organized. I mean, I certainly knew you had to do the nursery, and I certainly knew that if your home was organized, you'd be in a better position to absorb all these things that are coming. But there's also a lot of things you have to do. If you work in a corporation, you need to check what's the medical policy. What does it say about maternity? Are you going to leave? Are you going to leave permanently? How are you going to let people know? Because, you know, you're never going to make everybody happy. Aunt Sally in Minnesota is going to be unhappy that Uncle George in Florida found out first. So we talk about that. And then I'm very, very concerned with nurseries, and we go into everything you can think of that will make them toxic free.
Well, hold your thought, because we have plenty of time to talk about that and just really how that relates to anything in terms of dealing with our inner stuff, so our physical stuff is all kind of cohesively in harmony, right?
Yes.
Talking with Regina Leeds, maybe you have an organization issue. You can call on in and join on our conversation, because don't we all need some help like that? 888-KFWB-980, 888-539-2980. I'm Cindy Dole. Home Wizards continues right after this.
She traveled this road as a child, wide-eyed and grinning.
You ain't gonna rock and roll no more.
Don't talk back.
Welcome back. Cindy Dole here, and this is Home Wizards, where we love to talk about, well, taking out the trash and just making that home and garden and life a lot better. Here Saturdays 2 to 4 on KFWB, talking about how to really just feel at peace when you walk in the door, because you know, we all have so much stuff that accumulates, and it's a process that Regina Leeds, who is a professional organizer, that she has mastered, although she admits, you know, it isn't like you just poof, wake up one day, organize. You really have to work at this. And she's been named the best organizer by Los Angeles Magazine, all these great New York Times best-selling books, all about the 1 Year to an Organized Life series. And the latest is about making sure that as a parent-to-be, that you're going to be organized, because life with baby can be really cluttered. I mean, a lot of joy, but a lot of clutter. So, Regina, you wanted to talk a bit about dogs and babies coming on the way.
I did.
Because we're also dog lovers.
We are. Yes, my golden retrievers are gone, but I pet all the dogs on the street now. A lot of times what happens, Cindy, is people, their dog or their cat is their first baby. And then when a human baby comes along, they don't do any preparation with the animal. And so the animals can act out and be confused, and then they get put in shelters. It's very unfortunate. And there's a way around that, and that is you spend some time acclimating the dog. And in the resource section in 1 Year to an Organized Life with Baby, there's a CD you can buy that is baby sounds, baby crying, baby cooing, baby gurgling. And so the dog or your cat hears that while you're pregnant, and by the time the baby goes home, it's old news. And then a friend of mine, and I wrote about it in the book, I thought this was genius. She had a small car seat for the newborn, and she put it on the floor. She happens to have a little pug, and the pug would curl up in the dog seat.
Cute.
Now, when the baby was born, her husband brought home some soiled diapers and I think a onesie or something the baby had been wrapped in. Well, the dog got to smell the baby. And when the baby was on its way home, it smelled the dog, and they have been devoted to each other from the first minute. So it can take a little doing, but it's much better than having to give your animal away. And I just want to say, if you do make that decision that you cannot handle your dog, please do not go to a kill shelter. Please find a no-kill organization. They're all over Los Angeles. And also, if you have a breed that's specific, you can go to a rescue group for that breed, and the dog will be rehomed. So, but
Good tip.
That's, you don't want to send it off to the pound because you didn't get it ready. But by the same token, there are many, many, many opportunities to acclimate your puppy.
And you were saying when we were during the commercial break that really getting ready for any part of our life, there's kind of a common thread, right? In terms of the steps and the tools that we need to do
Yes.
to feel and truly be organized and stop the insanity.
I've been organizing now for 22 years. And the first 3 years, literally the night before I would go to work with somebody, I couldn't sleep. And I thought, tomorrow's the day. I'm going to see something and I won't have a clue how to organize it. And what will I say to the person? And after about 3 years, I realized it was all the same. It was the same process, whether we were in the garage or in a closet or in the kitchen or in the nursery, wherever we were. And I call it the magic formula because it's so magical. You can even use it. You could use it preparing for the radio show. People can use it preparing projects for work. The first thing you do is, you understand that the whole of anything is overwhelming. So you're going to have to break your project down into small increments. Just work on small tasks one at a time, and then you're going to build and suddenly be done. But you eliminate what you aren't going to use, what you don't need, what you don't want anymore. Just eliminate. That's a big step. And it's actually a very creative step. Are there things that I have to toss? Are there things I have to return to somebody else? Can I recycle? And on and on. So now you're looking at what's in the environment that actually has to stay there. And as you've been working the first step, you've been working the second, which is to create categories, which means you keep like with like. And in the closet, that's so easy to see. Shoes are with shoes and pants are with pants and so on and so forth. But it's in every category of your life. You keep, in every area of your life, you keep your categories together. And then the last step is to look at those categories and say, well, how can I put this together so that it's beautiful to look at, functional, and easy to maintain? And that's when you go to the Container Store or Bed Bath & Beyond and you read a book like, God willing, one of mine, to get tips and tricks for, well, what do people do in this situation to keep it organized? Mm-hmm. And that's it.
For me, you talked about choosing what you're going to get rid of. That's really hard because that's when we start to make excuses. Maybe I need it in the future kind of a thing. And I've tried that with clothes and with I'm better at it with clothes than I am with paper and with, I don't know what it is. I mean, come on, it's just paper, but it's really hard to say, maybe that email, because I've done that before. I've printed out an email and then I've thrown it away. And then darn it, if a month later I didn't need that and I deleted it and I was really regretting. So I kind of go through an angst on, am I making the right decision?
Well, there are always belief systems in place, and if a person approaches this, I had a woman come to me at an event once, and she said just what you just said. She said, every time I give something away, 2 weeks later I need it. So what do you say about that? And she crossed her arms and on her chest. She was very angry with me, and I said, well, first of all, I would say, as long as that is your belief, if I give something away, no matter what it is, inevitably I will need it. I said, then don't throw it away, because that's your law of your life, that you're going to need it. You've set that up as reality, and time again it will prove to be true. And I said, what's more interesting to me is, where did that belief come from? Because in metaphysical circles, we would call that a consciousness of loss. And I said to her, have you ever been robbed? Did you ever lose anything? Where did this come from? No, she said. So I happened to be there with another expert, and he was talking to her. And what we discovered was, when she was 5, she went away on her first overnight and the house burned down. So she came back and had nothing but what was in her little suitcase. And my mouth fell open, and I said, do you not think perhaps that was the genesis of your fear of getting rid of anything? Because that's a tremendously painful loss. So it may not always be that dramatic, but it sounds like you maybe just be beating yourself up for, okay, in the past, when I've gotten rid of this piece of paper, inevitably I've needed it. So, what I say in corporations and in all work circles, well, if you make a mistake, can you get that information again?
Probably.
Another person in the corporation has it. Somebody else in your circle has it. 99% of the time, whatever we need is on the World Wide Web.
Facebook has it. Come on.
Has it. Yes.
My friends and fans and friends have it by now.
Absolutely. So, and then as you, it's like building a muscle. You go to the gym, and the first day you don't turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger at the height of his career. You build muscle slowly. And this is the tossing muscle. So you build that slowly as well. And you just look at areas like it's easier for you to toss clothing probably because you like the charity it's going to, you like the person you're giving it to. So you just build up and say, well, it's okay that I let that go.
Well, I figure I could always buy a pair of jeans again. It isn't like that's this. I mean, unless it was like a T-shirt that my dad used to wear. I'm terrible about wanting to give that away. I'll hold on to that. But the things that I know I can replace, that's easy for me to discard.
Information is no different.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, now that you've been listening to my therapy session here, I'm talking to Dr. Regina Leeds. But seriously, it is, I think that's one of the difficult challenges. And then since we're just talking about what's also difficult, I think creating then, you said like with like. Okay, so now you have like with like, but how broad-based do you go versus how specific? Is it better to be, for instance, like with like in your office, finances, or do you break it down like finances, checking, da-da-da, you know what I mean?
Oh, sure. Yes, finances would be the broad category, and then under that you would have your checking, you would have the receipts that you're keeping for
credit cards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. All of that. And then when you look at your categories, they're really they're fascinating. And once you break them down, you can always find what you're looking for. For instance, a lot of people have a file. Most people in California have more than one vehicle. So everything relating to all their vehicles is in this file folder. So now if I want to know something about the BMW, I have to sift through the Chevy and the Ford and the Lamborghini to get to that information I need for the Beamer. So it would be better if you had
one for each car?
One for each car.
All right, we're learning and we're getting more organized. I can feel it. Do you feel it? Call on in at 888-KFWB-980 if you're like me and stress out over getting rid of all your clutter. Talking with Regina Leeds. She is the best, and she's here to help us in a kind way. And we're going to talk about some of the different rooms, the bedroom, the bathroom, the kitchen, and the office, and all that good stuff. Yeah, welcome to your nightmare. We're going to help you with that next. Home Wizard Cindy Dole. We continue after this.
Every sedation, you wanna feel at home, 'cause you belong.
Nothing else I'd rather do.
Welcome back, listening to Home Wizards on this very warm Saturday. Thanks for hanging out with me, Cindy Dole here. And as you're listening and you're thinking, boy, I really am enjoying this, but I wish I could listen to it again. You can. Just go to the website, cindydole.com, and you can download the podcast. We usually put them up by Sunday. And you can listen to past shows, all kinds of topics from A to Z. It's all there for you. You can check the home improvement videos and blogs. I hope you'll check that out at cindydole.com. So with me is Regina Leeds, a professional organizer, and she's giving us all kinds of help here on how to really look at that excess stuff in your life a little differently. And Regina, you were saying that that you're seeing signs that the economy is improving, perhaps, or at least our perception of it is improving because people are calling you and want some help with organization.
Yeah, it was very, very devastating at the height of the recession. For me and for all, I think, independent contractors, we're the first people that go when people stop spending money. You're not going to call your caterer or your organizer. These are considered luxuries when money is tight. And last August, my phone started to ring again, and it's almost as busy as it was now, as in 2008, which was a great year.
But I'm guessing too that in this stressful time over the past couple of years, that people might be accumulating even more stuff, because isn't it true that when you're going through just kind of a panicky, icky time, that you hold on, it's almost like it's a safety net. It makes you feel like you're going to be okay because it's that uncertain water that's out there.
Absolutely. And stuff is a buffer. People
like a blanket.
It is. Yes, it is. And it could be literally many blankets.
Yes, a year's collection.
Yes. And now is a good time for people really, as we start to feel more secure, to turn around and look at your environment, because you may even have things that you can sell. I'm not saying sell your possession. I mean, heaven forbid somebody's in that position. But if you can look around now and say, I could divest myself of some of this stuff and use the money maybe to buy things that I really need. We have so many opportunities now with eBay and I had a
Craigslist.
and you don't even have to be an expert. My caveat always, if women are alone and you want to sell things, to have a big bruiser guy hanging out with you pretending to be your husband if somebody's going to come over and buy something.
Right.
But I'm from Brooklyn and we're very cautious, so I just want everybody to be safe.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, make that money, but be safe.
Well, let's walk through some of the key zones
Sure.
in our life, and we both agree that the bedroom seems to be postponed in so many ways. And you say that a lot of people that you see when you walk in the front door, it looks like a beautiful place. It's very
Perfect.
well together, but then back in that bedroom, there's some demons.
There are demons in the bedroom, and there are also demons in the garage. I live in Toluca Lake, which is a lovely neighborhood, and everybody is, the homes are well appointed, and the lawns are beautifully manicured. And people open their garages, and I sometimes leap back and think, do you not think that affects you? Is that not part of your home? I think that everything is a part of the home, a part of the whole. It would sort of be like wearing a beautiful designer outfit, but forgetting to change your underwear. Wait a minute, what's wrong with this? What's wrong with this picture? So for any space that you want to organize, but certainly the bedroom, I think, is key. Before you dive in and start organizing, have a plan and just walk into that room as if you've never been there before and say, gosh, do the walls need painted? Am I sleeping on old threadbare sheets? How old is this comforter? What about the drapes? Do the windows simply need to be cleaned? Can I get into bed? A lot of people have so much debris around the bed, stacks and stacks of books, and the easy fix is just to get a bookcase. But you have to look at that and say, am I barricading my relationship? It's not too sexy if you're getting into old sheets and you have to climb over books. So I would take a look at some of that stuff, and then of course look in your closet and take a fearless inventory. What am I wearing? Some people like rules. If you've had it a year and you haven't worn it, throw it out. When you bring something home, throw something else out or give it away. And those don't work for me, and I don't impose them on my clients. I say every item you're not wearing, there's a story there. Tell me why you're not wearing it, or tell me why you want to save it. When people lose weight, they're very often terrified. I just organized somebody in Phoenix last weekend who said, I have 3 sizes in this closet.
Yeah,
and
what if I gain it back?
What if I gain it back? And I said, well...
Or I want to get back to that smaller size. Maybe
Yes.
I don't want to lose those great skinny jeans.
I had a ceremony. I'm slender, but when I lost I had to give away my thinnest jeans from a ridiculously thin period. Yes, I know that's very difficult. It's an homage to a part of your life. But I think if you're on a plan, if you're exercising and eating right and you see that you're losing weight and you're on your way to those skinny jeans, then great, save them. But if it's just an ideal, and it's been an ideal for several years now, I would let them go. I think you're confusing your mental state when you have multiple sizes. I think if you've lost the weight, you don't need the quote-unquote fat clothes.
Because you know what? I hear from different diet groups that you might you're giving your permission,
Absolutely.
self-permission to gain the weight.
Absolutely.
Because now you have those comfier, little looser jeans that you can fit into, right?
It's psychologically, absolutely. And then even for the smaller clothes, if you have a lot of weight to lose and it's been a few years since you went on a diet and now you are, do you really want to celebrate that incredible accomplishment of losing that weight by wearing old clothes? You might want to buy some special things that are a celebration of your accomplishment. I'm big on rewards, not ridiculous things that you can't afford, but we're a very puritanical society. People say to me all the time, well, why should I give myself a reward for something that I should have done anyway?
Oh, geez.
And I think, oh, no, you don't have to buy a Lamborghini, but you could... my big treat is I like to go to Starbucks. And if I eat lunch there every day, I'm going to be in the poorhouse. But if I go once a week and I call a dear friend and I make it a treat, then I can gift myself after doing something worthy of a treat. So you have to play games and reward yourself in life.
So what if we were to look at our bedroom this weekend and you
Yes.
say walk in there like you've never been there before, and the obvious, make sure that you can get onto the bed. There's space. But besides that, what are maybe just two other things that we should be thinking of that we could try to make our bedroom feel more of a sanctuary, an organized sanctuary?
If your clothes land on your chair rather than going into the closet, you've got to get into a new habit. That's a habit. I take off my clothes and I throw them on the chair. And you really want to be able to sit in that chair. You might want to cuddle with your sweetie in that chair. And so your new habit is I take something off and it can go in one of three places. It goes into the laundry basket, it goes into the dry cleaner bag, or it gets rehung on a hanger. And none of those take more time or effort than throwing something on the chair. That's a big no-no. The other thing is, are there items that you can do this? I call it a speed elimination. You set the clock, give yourself 10 to 20 minutes, depending on how much stuff you have and how big the room is, and start removing stuff. What could go in the trash? What could go to Goodwill? And what goes to other parts of the house? The bedroom is a big place. I walk into the bedroom and I see coffee cups from the past week on the nightstand. Your kids came in to play in your bedroom 2 or 3 days this week, and they brought toys with them, which is lovely and wonderful, but they should take those things back to their rooms.
Or how about the exercise machine that's in the bedroom, but it's a wonderful rack for the dry cleaning.
Yes.
So now it's like double whammy. It's not being used for exercising, and it's a space for more clutter.
And there's something that can be sold on Craigslist.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and in terms of the closet, are you a fan of getting hangers that are really nice hangers that maybe is in terms of treating yourself, that give you that attitude that your closet is a special place and that it's going to now force you to be a little tidier, as opposed to getting these really raunchy, metal hangers that are from the dry cleaner and then
No, stop the madness. No metal hangers. Okay, your dry cleaner has given you the cheapest hangers in the world, so you have something to carry your nice, clean clothes home in. He's not giving them to you to use forever. They're going to destroy your clothes over time, so you have to invest in something. Now, there's a padded hanger that's all the rage now, and not padded. It's like a coating that doesn't come off on your clothes, but it prevents things from falling off, and it's very thin. And it's
like a Velcro, not Velcro, but velour almost.
Velour,
yeah.
yes. That is the hanger of the moment, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're great.
And they're thin. I like that they're some of these great hangers are so thick, you feel like you're wasting space.
Yes. I'm a wood hanger girl. That's my favorite, but I have a huge walk-in closet, so I can accommodate that. But I use one type of hanger, and then when you get your clothes into categories so that you can see, well, how many blouses do I have, and where are my pants, and where are my shoes, that saves time. Time is money. But also put everything in color order. And you can decide what your color order is. I do white, off-white, beige, brown, blue, purple, pink, red, green, yellow, gray, black. That's my order, and I do it in all my closets in that way, and that's in my books. When you want to find something on the fly, Cindy, it is so easy. It can only be in one place. One place. My black jeans will only be in one place in my closet. And if I go to that hanger and it's empty, what do I know? Those black jeans are either in the laundry room, or if you're a person who sends your jeans to the dry cleaners, they're there, but you don't have to go hunting for them. And most people are very, very, very surprised when they organize their closets by type and color, what they really have.
How many extras you have.
Yeah.
I'm terrible about white. I have too many white shirts. Anyway, we're going to talk more with Regina Leeds and get to the bathroom and the kitchen area, because those are also some key areas where I know you need a little help in decluttering. We're all in this together. This is Home Wizard Cindy Dole. Your 888-KFWB 980 is our number. If you have some questions to call on in, we're back right after this.
Sure, there's no need to complicate.
Welcome back, Cindy Dole here. Happy pre-Valentine's Day. Had to play that one for you. Home Wizards here every Saturday from 2 to 4, and we're talking about feeling good as you walk into your closet, your bedroom, your bathroom, your kitchen, because somehow there's a way to find those things and just kind of make sense of all the stuff that you have. Regina Leeds is one of the most fabulous organization experts. She has a series of New York Times best-selling books called 1 Year to an Organized Life, and the latest one out is 1 Year to an Organized Life with Baby. And Regina Leeds, always great to have you back.
Thank you, Cindy.
And so in terms of the bathroom, because that we just talked a bit about the bedroom and the closet. The bathroom for some folks, it's right there connected.
Yes.
It's part of the suite. What are we doing wrong with our bathroom to not be organized? We have a lot of toiletries.
That's what it is. Women buy, it's usually women, I'm not picking on women, but we tend to buy more lotions and potions and products than the average guy does. And then maybe we don't like them, or maybe they're just not working, or we find something better, but we tend to feel very guilty and we say, well, I can't throw that out because that cost a lot of money. That would be wasteful. Well, first of all, you're occupying up a lot of valuable real estate with stuff you're not using. But second of all, and I have it in the baby book and in 1 Year to an Organized Life, I have a chart that was given to me from one of the execs at Jouet Cosmetics. And that is a chart letting you know how long you can save things. Lotions and potions and makeup do not last forever. Everything is pretty much dead somewhere between 6 months and a year.
It's kind of scary how long we keep that eye stuff around,
Yes.
and then put it on our eyes.
A home for bacteria.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that moving out. So
or medicine, we keep our prescriptions that are probably out of date.
Absolutely. Well, even aspirin, and a lot of people in Los Angeles have earthquake kits, and a lot of that stuff expires. You really got to take one day a year when you look at all the items in your house that could expire, and see the water, the dehydrated food you've put aside, any of that stuff.
Call it an expiration day.
An expiration day.
You can make it a party.
Yes.
Be kind of fun.
Now, speaking of party in the bathroom, I would go in and I would look around and I would say, okay, what do I like and what do I dislike about this room, just like you did in the bedroom? Do I need more shelving? Do I, what can I do to make this space work? Is the shower curtain 20 years old? Are the towels threadbare? Do I need more hooks? And you just do that. And then I would go in, and again, I would start with a speed elimination, and I would get rid of some of these things and also consolidate. I see people, they open 2 or 3 different bottles of the exact same thing, and that's just taking up space. So consolidate what you have. And then there's a container, it's many places, but it's called a grid tote, and it's plastic and it's got a grid design, and it's at the Container Store in many colors. And what you can do is separate things out so that all of your body lotions, all of your makeup, all of your shampoos and conditioners, when you need, or your mousse and gel, hair is a huge product category. When you need them, they're all coming out in a group. And then they can all go back. And you have to look and see, maybe you have deep drawers that could accommodate a few containers. Maybe you can keep them under the sink. Maybe you can put in some shelves. But that will really, really save you time.
Who's made my life worse but better at the same time? Or to say what? Costco and Smart and Final.
Oh, yeah.
Love them but hate them, because, I love the deals that you get, and it's fun to go and see all the great things. But then think of how many extra, toothpaste bottles that you have, right?
I know.
How many extra bottles of aspirin? Now we have to almost have a special storage room for the Costco run.
It's true.
It's overwhelming.
I'm a single woman. You can imagine what it's like for me. I had to.
Do you go? You go as a single woman there, and then
I go about twice a year.
Oh, I see.
And I stock up.
You stock up.
I stock up. But one of the things you can do if you're lucky enough to live in the house is to put a baker's rack, an inexpensive baker's rack just inside the door. And then you can have the overflow of the tissues and the paper towels.
That's a good idea. So in the back side of your bathroom door, have that, huh?
Well, no, right inside the door as you go into the garage.
Oh, I see in there. Okay.
Or if you have a linen closet that's very large and it's right near the bathroom, you can also put some of the backup there, because it's true, if you have all of that in one space, whether it's your cleaning products or your paper products or your shampoos.
It doesn't feel very serene. It doesn't feel like you're at a spa.
No.
It feels like you're at a grocery store, basically.
Living at Costco. Yes.
Yeah, next thing you know, there's going to be a guy, handing out snacks in there.
Wait, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, now to the kitchen. Speaking of
Yes.
food, I know that we could spend hours on this, but what are maybe 2 or 3 things pots and pans, that always is a nightmare for me. How do you keep them when you have very little space in a nice, neat, tidy order?
Well, the pots and pans are like dishes and glasses. There's a set place in the kitchen where any kitchen you walk into, the glasses are on one side of the kitchen sink and the dishes will be on the other, and the pots and pans will be as close to the oven, on one side of it or another or under it, in that area. If you don't have a lot of space, you're going to have to stack your pots and pans. And there are lid containers. I think it's great if a lid can be on a pot. Then you just take it out as in one fell swoop. You've got everything you need, the pot and the lid. But if you don't have the space for that, you're going to have to put the lids together and stack the pots. But the big bugaboo in the kitchen is saving things that we no longer use.
Oh, I know. The margarine containers, right?
Yes.
Those plastic tubs that all of a sudden think of all those uses.
I know. And the Tupperware that hasn't had a lid in 20 years,
God.
or the lid that hasn't had
it won't stay because you put it in the dishwasher and now it's curled on the side.
Right.
And you keep putting it down, it keeps popping back up.
Yes. Those things have to go. And then you have to keep everything you've got to be like a general in the kitchen. So you want things in categories. So if you open up a drawer, you don't want to have your baking tools with your prep tools. You want to have everything all over the kitchen, again, just like in your closet, separated into zones. So when you want to bake, there you are. And if you no longer bake, let's say your children are gone and you're not baking anymore, move that to a back area of the kitchen and move something forward that you use all the time, and then take that out once a year when you make cookies with the kids.
How about spices? Again, speaking about those large big box of food stores. I mean, you got these spices. I mean, I've got basil coming out of the, what? I mean, it's so unseemly. It isn't like a nice, neat, and tidy place to have all your pretty spices.
And don't put them, people store them very often very, very close to the oven, and the heat is going to rob them of their flavor. And spices are like your makeup. They don't last for long periods of time. So unless you're
paprika that gets all gummy.
Or the oregano that you haven't used in 6 months, and then you put it in a dish and it's got no flavor because, those poor little things, it's expensive, but sometimes smaller is more economical than large, unless if you're cooking all the time, you may be using basil all the time, so the big one's good. But otherwise, get the smaller size.
All right. Well,
you should be throwing it out.
We have a lot of thanks to give to you because you're giving us some good tips. We can do this weekend. And so tell people your website, reginaleeds.com.
It's reginaleeds.com.
And find the books.
Find the books. And please don't do the entire house this weekend. That's why I wrote 1 year to an Organized Life series, because if you overwhelm yourself, you're going to set yourself up to fail.
And how do we get started? What's the one thing we should tell ourselves if we're kind of like putting it off and putting it off? I mean, people who are listening to you right now, but then tomorrow they wake up and, maybe next week.
I would say first of all, ask yourself, am I depressed about my life? Is there something going on that is occupying my full attention? It may not be the best time to get organized, and you want to start small, and I say start with creating good habits. If you can make your bed every day, wash your dishes rather than leave them in the sink, and put the clean ones away in the cupboards, and do that will change the environment. Hang up your clothes. Simple things like that will make you feel better about yourself. And at Facebook, Regina Leeds, the Zen Organizer, and we're trying to build that page into a vibrant community with other experts. So come and ask me your questions.
Okay, Regina Leeds, love you. We'll have you back for sure. All right, the fun continues as we segue into hour 2 of Home Wizards. Cindy Dole, don't you go away. Get some news, and the fun continues after this.